All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about something that powers stars, helps us peer inside the human body, and is just fundamental to how the universe works: radioactivity. We're going to figure out why some of the most basic building blocks of everything just, well, fall apart.
And yeah, that really is the big question, isn't it? I mean, why are some atoms perfectly happy for billions of years, while others just can't seem to hold it together for a second? Let's get into it.
So, to figure out why these atoms are so unstable, we've got to look at the atom itself. And the best way to think about it is to imagine a shaky house of blocks.
Imagine you're building a tower of blocks. The taller and taller it gets, the more it starts to wobble, right? Well, that's pretty much what's happening with radioactivity. It's just the process where a super heavy, unstable atomic nucleus, our shaky tower, spits out some matter or energy just to become a little more stable.
And you know, this isn't just some random thing. There's actually a tipping point. In the atomic world, the magic number is 82. Any element with more than 82 protons, we're talking uranium, radon, that kind of stuff, is just too massive. It's naturally unstable and it has to shed some weight to find its balance again.
Okay, so you've got this overweight atom. How does it slim down? Well, nature is pretty clever. It's come up with 3 main ways to do this. So let's meet the team responsible for all this radioactive decay.
An unstable atom basically has 3 choices on its menu to get stable. It can either chuck out a heavy particle, pull off a kind of subatomic magic trick, or it can just let out a huge burst of pure energy. These are the 3 main types of radiation, and each one solves the atom's problem in its own unique way.
So let's take a much closer look at these 3 paths. We're going to break down exactly what's going on inside that nucleus when it decides to decay.
First up on the list is alpha-decay. You can think of this one as the brute force method. When an atom is just way, way too big for its own good, it calls in the heavy hitter of the radiation world.
So what is this heavy hitter? It's what we call an alpha particle. It's a little package of 2 protons and 2 neutrons all bundled together. And here's the wild part. That's exactly the same thing as the nucleus of a helium atom. The unstable atom is literally spitting out a tiny piece of a completely different element to try and calm down.
And this leads to something that sounds like it's straight out of science fiction: transmutation. By kicking out that alpha particle, the original atom loses 2 protons. And since the number of protons is what defines an element, it literally transforms into a completely new, different, and lighter element. It's real-life alchemy, happening all on its own, all the time. Now, what is the atom's problem isn't just that it's too heavy, but that its ratio of protons to neutrons is all out of whack. Well, that's when it turns to option number 2, beta-decay. And this one is like a subatomic magic trick.
Deep inside the nucleus, a neutron can suddenly just flip and become a proton. When it does that, it spits out a super high-speed electron to keep the charges balanced. Or the exact opposite can happen. A proton turns into a neutron and emits a positron. And here's the crazy part. Even though the atom changes its identity, its total mass number stays pretty much exactly the same.
And that brings us to our third and final option. What happens when an atom has all the right parts, the proton to neutron ratio is perfect, but it's just too excited? It's literally vibrating with way too much energy. That's where gamma radiation comes in.
See, unlike alpha and beta, a gamma ray isn't a particle. It has no mass. It's a high-energy photon, a packet of pure light, way, way more powerful than visible light or even X-rays. The nucleus doesn't throw out any matter. It just releases this incredible flash of energy to sort of relax.
So gamma decay is more like the atom is just letting off steam. It doesn't have an identity crisis. It starts out as, say, cobalt-60, and it ends as cobalt-60. The only thing that changes is its energy level. It goes from being all hyped up to a much calmer, more stable state.
All right, so we've met our 3 main players. Now let's put them head to head. Each one of these types of radiation has completely different properties. You could almost call them different superpowers.
Let's do a little face-off here. The alpha particle is this big, heavy, slow-moving bruiser. It's so big, in fact, that a single piece of paper can stop it cold. Then you have the beta particle. Since it's just a tiny electron, it's a lot faster, and you need something like a sheet of aluminum to block it. But gamma radiation? That's pure energy moving at the speed of light. It's the most powerful of the 3 by far, and you need thick lead or solid concrete to have any chance of stopping it.
But wait, there's one last really fascinating piece to this whole puzzle, and it's all about the energy that these particles carry away with them. Because as it turns out, they don't all play by the same rules. When an atom spits out an alpha particle, that particle always comes out with a very specific, discrete amount of energy. If you were to graph these energies, you just see these sharp, predictable spikes. It's incredibly consistent.
But beta decay, oh, it's a whole different story. See, during that magic trick, the atom also releases another tiny, almost ghost-like particle called a neutrino. The energy from the decay gets shared randomly between the electron and that neutrino. Because of this, beta particles come flying out with a whole range of energies, which gives you this smooth curve on a graph instead of a sharp spike.
So you might be wondering, where does all this energy to fling particles around even come from? It comes from something called the Q value. It turns out that after the decay, the final pieces weigh just a tiny bit less than the original atom. That little bit of lost mass is converted directly into pure energy, just like Einstein predicted with E = mc squared. That's what powers this whole amazing process.
And all of this leaves us with a pretty mind-bending thought, doesn't it? We've seen how the fundamental building blocks of our reality can literally transform themselves, shedding pieces to find some kind of stability. It really makes you wonder, if the very core of an atom can change its identity, what in the entire universe is truly permanent?